Hey there, guys. I hope you're doing well. It's Ray Ray. So, this is another natal chart interpretation. Okay. Now, since I gave all of you the option of choosing whose chart that I do next, and you selected Nikola Tesla's chart, this is what we're going to be doing today. Okay. Obviously, before we get into the reading, let's just speak a little bit about this person. Tesla was an engineer who was born in the 19th century. He was born in Croatia. Now, he actually is responsible for many of the electrical equipment and devices that we use today. Radio, for example, he invented pretty much, not, I don't want to say everything, but he had a big hand. He played a big role in, a lot of the technology that we use today. Elon Musk named his car company Tesla after the great engineer. Some believe that he is one of, if not the most intelligent people to ever have existed on the planet. Einstein himself was once asked by a reporter or a journalist, what does it feel like to be the smartest person in the world? And Einstein said, I don't know, you'll have to ask Nikola Tesla. So Tesla was, he was a genius, let's be honest. He weren't a scientist per se. He was an engineer, but he still was a genius, and his natal chart definitely shows that. So we're going to dive deep into it now. And while I do that, I'll also cover certain aspects of his life as well. So always when I begin these interpretations, I like to begin with the rising, the ascendant, because the ascendant is the karmic doorway through which all other aspects of the natal chart are filtered through. Okay, so he did have a Taurus rising with Pluto in close conjunction with that rising, which gave him a very intense personality, but also a very stable one at the same time. Okay, he was very stubborn. He knew exactly who he was and who he wanted to be, while he was younger in the future as well. Um, this is somebody who was very electric as well, pun intended, in a sense, because he worked a lot with electricity. And you can tell that with his first house Uranus as well. This is a typical marker of somebody who, is very innovative, is very inventive from a young age, but it also shows high degrees or high levels of intelligence as well, built within the personality. I do say that because Uranus is the planet of pretty much genius, and Mercury is the lower form of Uranus as well. But Uranus and Mercury aspects tend to, signify high degrees of intelligence if they're aspected well. So his Uranus is sextile in Neptune, which is a very good aspect, of course. His Neptune is also in the 11th house. And don't forget also that the ruling sign of his Uranus is on the 11th house cusp as well. The 11th house cusp is science or scientific things. It's also futuristic things as well, electricity, inventiveness, eureka moments, having sudden flashes of insight or, intelligence. But before I go further, let me just explain a little bit more about the concept of a genius, okay? Because a lot of people don't really understand what this word actually means, okay? So the word comes from obviously the word genie, it's connected to that, okay? But my understanding of genius is that there is only one genius in the entire universe, and that is cosmic intelligence itself. It is that, divine mind that created everything. Yeah. People who are geniuses are those who are capable of getting out of their own way and enabling that cosmic intelligence to work through them. Okay. And that's why people like Einstein, people like Tesla, who had their biggest realizations when they weren't thinking. You know, Einstein is quoted as saying, I can think all day and get nothing. The moment I stop thinking, it comes, boom, something just hits them like a bolt of lightning. And that is, your typical eureka moment. That is intuition coming through. The level of thought can only take us so far. The intelligence of the intellect is limited. the intelligence of cosmic intelligence, is actually beyond linear time. So when we actually tap into that level, we have access to pretty much everything that ever did exist or ever will exist, because time, like I just said, is an illusion. Okay. So Tesla was obviously somebody who knew this very well. Okay. And yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Obviously, in order to do this effectively, you need to be able to spend time alone and to really enjoy it as well. Solitude, Yogananda did say, is the price of greatness. Okay. And Tesla is known, it's well known or well documented that Tesla never married throughout his entire life. He stayed on his own. So let's just explore his relationships a little here to see how the chart indicates that. Okay. And it's pretty obvious to me if you look at his descendants here. His descendants in Scorpio are 2 degrees. Okay, that means that there's two rulers to his relationships. Obviously Mars, but also Pluto. Okay, so let's examine Mars first. You can see Mars here in the sixth house. Okay, now this Mars is in its fall sign here because it's exalted in Aries, obviously in Scorpio as well. But it's in its fall, but it's also in conjunction with the South Node in Libra. Now, Libra is the sign of relationships and partnerships. Tesla actually has the same nodes as me, okay? The exact same nodes on the exact same degree as well, which is kind of trippy. So, like, people with a Libra South Node, but pretty much were too dependent or too reliant on other people in past lives. And some people who have the Aries North Node then are actually destined to live large portions of their life, if not the majority of their lives, on their own, because they need to learn how to be independent spirits in this life without allowing the opinions or beliefs of other people to define them. It's really about finding the self in this life. That's what an Aries North Node life typically is like for most people. But the double whammy for Tesla in particular is the house position of his North Node. If you look, he's got the North Node in the 12th house. The 12th house is the house of solitude, being on your own, basically. So that's pretty much why he spent the majority of his time on his own. Also the other ruler of his descendant access is Pluto in Taurus, and it is in the first house, which is the self again. Okay, which indicates that on a personality level, he will go through many changes and transformations over the course of his life, which he did. But also, it's in conjunction with the ascendant, which means that he's pretty much got to be on his own. He's got to be with himself in this life. Okay, so the natal chart does indicate that for sure. Tesla is also well known to have been friends with Swami Vivekananda. Now, Vivekananda was one of the first, pretty much like Paramhansa Yogananda, one of the first Eastern yogis to come to the West to spread the teachings of the East in that continent, okay? In America especially. Now, Vivekananda himself was a direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. Ramakrishna is a great Kundalini yogi and also a devotee of Kali, the Hindu goddess, right? So Vivekananda's philosophy was Vedanta. He excelled in that, but he died when he was like 40 years of age. He was really young when he passed away. He must have just completed what he needed to or do what he needed to do in this life, and then he just left. But anyway, Vivekananda and Nikola Tesla were very good friends, and Vivekananda definitely did, in my opinion, help Tesla achieve heightened states of consciousness for sure. Probably help Tesla as well get out of his own way and achieve the state of no self, which is to become pure consciousness during meditation, and that's really the key to opening yourself up to higher forms of, intelligence and information for sure. So I'm sure the yoga that he learned from Vivekananda definitely helped him not only in his research, but also in a lot of the innovations that he made over the years. He does have that North Node in the 12th house. The 12th house is, naturally ruled by Neptune. Neptune is one of the most spiritual planets in astrology. It represents, the non-physical realms, the etheric realms, and so on. And Tesla is very well known to have played with the element of ether, which he called, a primordial substance. He said that in every cubic inch of space there is energy that we can, use for whatever we want. And it's very well documented that Tesla actually created devices which enabled people to power up their cars or their homes or whatever, with this free energy that is all around us in every cubic inch of space. And he called it prana. He called it a primordial substance. Obviously, there's a lot of conspiracy theories going on about how, many people have since have created a lot of these devices and everything, and, how they've been bought out, or even some people have been killed because, it'll pretty much destroy the fossil fuels industry if these devices were to be released. But Tesla was adamant that they be given free to the public. He wanted them released and given free. But Edison, who was his supervisor, asked him, "Well, where's the meter?" And Tesla said, "There is none. There is no meter. It's free for everybody." And he didn't approve Tesla's patents, unfortunately, because there was no way of making money out of it. And that's just the kind of capitalistic society we're living in, unfortunately. It was just as true back then as well. But the fact that Tesla wanted to really nurture the collective and to really just give, his inventions away for free, and to just say, just become self-sufficient, become sustainable yourself, is really evident in his Cancer stellium at the bottom of his chart there. He's got the sun in conjunction with Venus, which will make him a very, and very kind and generous person. He's also got Saturn as well, in conjunction with the asteroid Ceres. Ceres is the asteroid of nurturing as well. So in a sense, he wanted to become like a father to all in that sense, and give out the freedom of free energy to everybody, but he just simply wasn't allowed, unfortunately, which is a shame. And fast forward to 2022, and we're still using fossil fuels when we don't need to, and we're completely destroying the biosphere of our planet, which is just, awful. I think the fact that he was inhibited or prevented from doing that is very evident in his chart as well. Let's re-examine his 11th house Neptune in Pisces, okay? So obviously, this gives him the humanitarian desire to want to be of service to all, yeah, and to really give people that kind of resource that he invented. But there are squares to his Neptune from his Mercury and Gemini, and that's probably what prevented him from actually doing that. Unfortunately, because Gemini rules over the second house in his chart as well. Which indicates obviously money. So there was a money issue involved, and obviously Edison, who only really cared about money, and profiting, prevented that from happening. And that was a huge, it's a cataclysmic kind of event that happened throughout our history. And people don't really understand that one decision could be catastrophic for us in the near future. So basically, a lot of Tesla's ideas were actually stolen by Edison, okay? And they were used to make money. Basically, Edison plugged them into the capitalistic grid, and Tesla is quoted by saying that I don't care that they stole my idea. I care that they don't have any ideas of their own. Obviously, Tesla is the kind of person who didn't really personalize the things that he did. He was a great humanitarian. That is evident with his first house Uranus, especially. But he's a very, very this is someone who was a yogi at heart, somebody who understood, the etheric nature of the universe and the unseen energies and dimensions that are all around us, okay? Again, that's evidence in his 11th house Neptune in Pisces. By the way, he's got Neptune in Pisces, which is its strongest position as well. And he's recently just had his Neptune return. However, he also said this: if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. The fact that many of us use these words, frequency, vibration, etc., is really down to Nikola Tesla as well. And people don't really understand that. He also said that the day science begins to study non-physical phenomena, it will make more progress in one decade than in all the previous centuries of its existence. And obviously, the quantum mechanics, especially, is really going in that direction. It's helping to unite, the physical world and the spiritual world together, which is it's a very exciting time to be alive for sure. Now, Tesla lived till he was 86 years old. Let's go back to his Uranus because I feel this planet is really important in his chart, obviously, because of the things that he achieved and just the kind of personality that he had in general. He's got Uranus in the same sign of his ascendant as well, which says everything really. But Uranus takes 84 years to orbit the sun. Okay. So if anyone's fortunate enough to live up to the age of 84, they do have a Uranus return. Okay. Now, Tesla is approaching his second Uranus return. He was actually 84 when he had his first one. The last years of his life, he just lived in a hotel basically on his own, with a load of pigeons apparently. And the moments that he was pronounced dead, apparently, a lot of his, schematics and his work was raided by the FBI or the CIA or something like that. I'm not sure. But I did hear that a lot of his work was stolen upon his passing. But he did say another thing as well about the future, which is really interesting. Okay. Because Uranus, from a linear perspective in astrology, does represent all things futuristic. It is the future planet. Okay, so Tesla says this about the future. He says, let the future tell the truth and evaluate each one according to his work and accomplishments. The present is theirs, meaning those who stole some of his ideas and patterns. The future for which I have really worked is mine. Okay, so I do believe that upon, I think it's in 2024, his second Uranus return is going to occur. A lot of people don't know this about astrology, that even when a person dies, the planets still hit their chart. And for example, when a big planet hit one of Yogananda's sun or something, the documentary on Yogananda came out. Like, physical death doesn't really stop the influence of the planets. They just work in a more subtle way. But anyway, we are approaching Tesla's second Uranus return in 2024, and I do believe that maybe some more of his innovations will be made public. Possibly, of course. Elon Musk is obviously a big fan of Tesla, and so maybe he'll have something to do with it. I'm not sure. But yeah, that's really everything that I could see in regards to Tesla. I don't want to go on forever, obviously. One other thing that stands out to me, I guess, is his ascendant is in Capricorn. So Capricorn is the sign of longevity since it's ruled by Saturn. When people have the MC on in Capricorn, sometimes, not all the time, obviously, but sometimes they tend to create things that far outlive the creator. So Tesla's work is obviously designed more for the future. Yeah. The Tesla coil, for example. So his work has far outlived, and I don't even think we've scratched the surface of his work and his investigations, to be honest. And I do believe that in the future he will be honored more than he is presently, and more will be brought to light over the course of time. I do think 2024 is going to be a huge year for Nikola Tesla. We're going to probably see more of the truth about his life and some of the things that he did invent brought to light. There is a quote about Tesla saying that he time traveled as well. I mean, I don't know if that's real or not. Um, so I don't know whether to I don't that's just on the shelf for me. But he did say that he could see the past and the future and the present all at the same time. And that makes sense because if you watch any of my other videos, I'm constantly spouting that there is no linear time and all things exist simultaneously. Tesla was also aware of this reality, so yeah, that's it. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Also, please don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon as well if you want to be notified about my future videos. I will be posting another poll later during this week with 4 more people who you can vote for, and I'll interpret whoever you vote for, their chart, obviously. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching. Take it easy. Peace.